Hello. This is going to be a tough one. I was very, very sad while writing this script, but I really hope you appreciate it. Let's get into it. Sometimes I feel disconnected. I feel so disconnected knowing that I live in a time where it's almost impossible to be disconnected. And that's weird because you can call somebody, you can text somebody, you can drive to them, you can do whatever, but I feel disconnected from my loved ones a lot. And I feel disconnected from everyday people who I'm forced to share my life with and see in the office and interact with at the grocery store. And honestly, I feel disconnected from myself. And that's a bad feeling. This is a really hard thing for me to talk about for a lot of reasons, and it's really personal stuff, and I know for a fact the mask is on to hide it, but even when writing this, it was uncomfortable, and it's embarrassing to admit that I feel so disconnected in every aspect of my life. It's not something I'm necessarily proud of. When I wrote this, I was sad. I felt alone. I felt like no matter how hard I try, I still feel alone. And I know the issue. I'm just too embarrassed to say it. So here it goes. I hate when things don't go my way. I hate when I try to get something done and I try my best to get the ball moving and I end up stuck. I end up feeling like Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill just to watch it come rolling down all the way back down, just ruining all the progress that you made. But whose fault is that? Who's making me feel this way? Is it others? Is it others that is pushing the ball all the way down? Is it gravity? No, it's myself, and I can admit that, but there's this one quote that really gets me in it, and I've been chewing on it, and it involves Sisyphus, obviously. It says, one must imagine Sisyphus happy. And I chewed on that quote for a while. I thought, how could he be happy? All his work is erased every day, and he knows it's just worthless work. How could you be happy about that? To me, the only way out of that torment would be to disconnect. Kind of what I'm doing. And to imprison myself in just sadness and loneliness and numbness. And then I thought about it again. I was like, well, that mindset's not really working here. So I thought Sisyphus could be happy on the descent, watching all of his work roll down the hill, but grateful he just gets a moment to breathe, a moment to think, a moment to disconnect from the only task that he has to do. And then it hit me. Is that the point? Is disconnection really such a bad thing? Is that why I feel sad when I'm disconnected because I just assume that it's bad? I don't know. I don't know if that conundrum's even real. I honestly don't have an answer for that, but right now in this moment, I'm literally pushing that boulder. Not filming. I love filming, but just like every other aspect of my life, I'm pushing that boulder. And suddenly it just opens up this bigger question. What do we do with our feelings? With the emotions that come with the climb? And if you imagine yourself as Sisyphus, and you imagine that you're happy. Are you? I think the answer is yes. I think the answer might as well be yes because you have the power to choose your feelings. But then that begs the question, then why isn't that simple in real life? And it's not as simple as just, well, think of yourself as happy. Well, it kind of is, but you have to know how. But I think I found a small piece of truth that's kind of helping me know how. I know that I just went on like a rant about how I'm upset, and now I'm going to tell you how to not be upset. I know, but just hear me out. The first step is to just do the task at hand. Push the damn boulder up the hill, even though you know for a fact it's just going to come rolling back down. And don't be scared if you have to restart, because odds are you will. And when you do, that doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you're alive. The prison isn't the task. It's the judgment we attach to it. The shame of failing and the fear of starting over, and the lie that says, if you were stronger, you wouldn't be here again. You would have got the boulder up by now. And those are the types of feelings that make your journey miserable. But you're strong. You're strong because you're trying again. Strong people try again. Weak people stop trying. Because even when it hurts, even when it's heavy, even when you want to quit, you're still pushing. That's why you're here watching this video. Because you're still pushing. You're still trying to figure out what the fudge is going on here, you know? Nobody ever knows, but maybe Sisyphus isn't happy because the task is easy and it's just as simple as put boulder uphill. Maybe he's happy because he knows the truth now, that life was never about reaching the top. It was about learning to be human during the climb. So yeah, I feel disconnected sometimes from people, from purpose, from myself, but maybe that's okay. Maybe disconnection is part of the story, a quiet chapter in the story, a low valley or a long descent watching your boulder fall down the hill, but it's not the end of the story, because eventually you start pushing the boulder up again. You put your hands on it, you breathe, and you just push that big boulder up the hill. And that effort right there is really all you, I, me need. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.